We absolutely loved our time here in Vava'u, Tonga. As we say see you later, we're heading for Fiji. This is our track as we sailed from Tonga to Fiji. We crossed the international date line where west becomes east, through part of the Lao group, and then on to various locations. None the least, Savu we would spend a bit of time at, and then down around various other bays, islands and locations, right around to Buddha Point Marina, and then Muscat Cove and beyond. We had a steady but solid start to this passage. This passage would take us 460 nautical miles to complete in just 2 nights at sea. Actually 2 days and 5 hours we would be there. After spending almost 3 weeks at Tonga, it was time for us to get the fishing gear out, some lures in the water, and to restock our pantry with some fresh fish. If you look very closely, out in front of Anacamp, you'll notice lots of little white splashes. That would be a school of tuna up on the surface feeding. In next to no time, the call went out, "Fish on!" as each rod loaded up with some fresh tuna. The first fish is a nice little chunky skipjack tuna, which was released unharmed. As I said before, 3 rods out, 3 fish on. These 3 fish were slightly larger and took a lot to get them up to the back of Anacamp. We never stopped sailing at any time while we were fishing. Success with the gaff on the second shot. One very solid Pacific big eye tuna, and the others were released unharmed. We packed the fishing gear away once our boat speed started getting up there. Anacamp really shows her pedigree when she's in her happy place. This is a recording of our chart plotter as we pass from west over to east. The call went out, land ho, as we approached some of the outer islands on the eastern side of Fiji. This really was one of those passages that you'll always dream about. It was quick, it was robust, We caught some good fish, we had some good weather, and we finished with some really good wind. We call land ho for the second time as we sail past the western end of Tavanui. We made it safely to Savu Savu. Our morning views as we anchored in 38 metres of water just outside the Nakama Creek here at Savu Savu. Just to give you an idea of some of the documents that we have to fill out to make customs, passport control, biosecurity and the Department of Health declaring to a new country. And while we were waiting for the clearance officials to finish what they had to do, we sat and watched the inter-island ferries come and go. After making clearance, we caught up with Jane and Paul off Nora J and Debbie and John off Oddity, the boats that we were mucking around with in Tonga. Also, after making clearance, we moved Anacam further up the creek and picked up a mooring just outside of the copra shed. Our first official Fiji sunset. It didn't take us long and we were invited by one of the local girls to attend their small church with her. Along with several other cruisers, we were invited to share in a traditional feast at the Planters Club. You could say hot and spicy was the order of the day. I forgot to mention that this place is very volcanic and still very active, with steam vents and hot springs, and the locals even use them for cooking to this day. Along with several other cruisers, we catch a bus and head over to the other side of the island. We have arrived at the Natuvu Creek Mission. It's situated on about 750 acres and sits on the edge of an extinct volcano that reaches to an altitude of 1,200 feet, or about 400 metres. Rain and bamboo forests and the beautiful clean ocean on the shores of Bucka Bay. It is an absolute jewel on this island of Vanuatu. We just love making Skype calls to stay in touch with the family back home.
Cam's just filming me talking to you. Yeah. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I can hear you, Sam. You crazy boy.
We jump in McKenna, our dinghy, and head into town to get some provisions ready for the next part of our journey. No trip to the market would be complete if we did not have our pink granny trolley. We dropped our mooring in Nakama Creek and made the short sail across to Nardi Bay. Our next anchorage was at Nananu I Cake Island, which we affectionately called Nana's Icing Cake. Along with another buddy boat, Kiwi Beans, we stopped at the Vatia Wharf slot. The three boys, Theo, Reuben and Lowen, with their mum, Sarah, paddled over to say g'day. They were all off Kiwi Beans. The next day we sailed off with almost zero wind. Our passage took us down past the big city of Lautoka. We definitely do not land every fish we hook up with. This one, self-released. Our next stop here in Fiji was in Saweni Bay. We were on a mission to get Anacam ready for a haul out. By removing all of the soft growth on our hull, it would save a lot of time and a lot of effort in the boatyard. we still made time for some lovely evening walks along the beach. We set sail for our next destination. The conditions were so good, we left our dinghy tied to the back of Anakam. Because we were right on the bottom of the tide, we left Anakam anchored out the front and took McKenna, our dinghy, in to check out the Buddha Point Marina. There's nothing quite like a Fiji gulp or two while you're waiting for the tide to come up. As it was now very close to the top of the tide, in we come with Anakam. We pick up the mooring right in the centre of the basin, just for the night, as the next morning we would be lifted out of the water. We purchased this haul out and splash at the Buddha Point Marina for $50 while we were in Tahiti. We were hauled out, scrubbed, sanded, painted new anti-foul and back in the water on the third day. Our timing was spot on. No sooner were we in the water, the tide was right and off we went to anchor in front of Denaroo. The very next day, we got underway for our final destination, Muscat Cove. We'd heard from a lot of other people that had been here before us how great this place was, and they were not wrong. We were there just in time to watch some of the Australian Football League Grand Final. We sailed back to the Buddha Point Marina to complete our final clearance to leave Fiji, but no clearance would be complete without the farewell song.
Banaka, banaka, banaka. Absolutely beautiful.
Fiji always was and always will be a very special place to us. We loved it here the first time we came in on the big jet plane, and this time we've done it on our own yacht, Anacam. Special people and fantastic memories. As you are still watching this one, hit the like and the subscribe to watch more from Sailing on Anacam. Life will always present us with unique challenges. The decisions we make in the face of these challenges is paramount to our success.